As the youngest law professor, I married my childhood sweetheart, Jasper Lee, in the most glorious year of my career. We, this double star in the legal world, also became a loving model couple in everyone's eyes. In the 10th year of our marriage, my mother took my son out and was suddenly in a car accident. The female driver who caused the accident was drunk driving. My mother only had time to protect her grandson in her arms, but she died on the spot. In the courtroom, my husband, Jasper Lee, was sitting next to Thea Yi as the defendant's lawyer. My client was driving normally when the deceased suddenly rushed out, attempting to stage an accident, ultimately leading to this unfortunate event. The deceased party should bear the primary responsibility for the accident. I stared at the man before me in disbelief, my eyes bloodshot. My mom couldn't be faking an accident. I have a witness. But the 10-year-old son, who could testify as a witness in court, hugged Thea Ye's arm tightly. I testify that it was Grandma who wanted to fake an accident and deliberately ran into Aunt Thea's car. Mom even wanted me to lie, but I won't hurt Aunt Thea. My heart sank completely. The trial is over. The judge acquitted the defendant, Thea Yi. As the family member of the party at fault, I need to bear the main responsibility for the accident and compensate Thea Yi with 100,000 yuan for vehicle repair costs. I stood at the courthouse entrance looking at Jasper Lee and his son in disbelief. Why? You knew she was the one who killed my mother. Why are you helping her? I'm sorry, Thea's mother died in the mountains to save me back then. I owe her a debt. Jasper Lee handed me a bank card. Here's another 100,000. Consider it Thea's compensation to you. Compensation. I snapped the card in half and threw it at Jasper's face, hysterically roaring. Jasper, in your eyes, my mother's life is only worth 100,000? That's a living, breathing human life. That's my mother. What Thea Yi owes you, why should my mother's life be used to repay it? Enough. Jasper Lee impatiently scolded. This is a courtroom, don't embarrass yourself here. The son stood next to Jasper Lee, his tone dissatisfied. So what if Grandma died? If Aunt Thea gets arrested, who will play with me in the future? Mom, how can you be so selfish? I froze on the spot, a chill washing over my entire body. I'm selfish? I couldn't believe that this was the evaluation of me from the son I had raised for 10 years. Thea Yi walked over gently, her voice soft. Sister, Xiao Xi is young and speaks without thinking. Don't hold it against your own son. Aunt Thea. The son saw Thea Yi and immediately trotted forward, grabbing Thea Ye's arm and acting spoiled. I'm a man now, I'll protect Aunt Thea in the future. Little Ci is so good. Thea Yi hugged her son with a gentle smile as if they were the real mother and child. I watched this scene with my own eyes, feeling only endless ridicule. So this is the son I carried for 10 months and risked my life to give birth to. So this is the home I gave up my career to protect with all my heart. Jasper Lee calmly took out an agreement from his briefcase. This is the agreement to waive the appeal. After signing it, this matter ends here. Impossible. I tore the agreement to shreds. Jasper Lee, don't forget that I also studied law and I used to be a lawyer. I will never let my mother die in vain. Jasper's sharp eyes turned cold. Then you can try. Leaving the courthouse, I returned to the scene of the accident and requested the surveillance footage from the time of the accident, but was told that the surveillance had been removed. The surveillance footage is missing, and the vehicle involved in the accident unexpectedly fell into the water. To protect Thea Yi, Jasper almost destroyed all the evidence. I sold all my assets and exhausted all my connections, finally obtaining the forensic report on my mother's remains. Multiple comminuted fractures throughout the body, with the chest and abdominal cavities repeatedly crushed by wheels. I realized clearly. This was no accident at all, but a premeditated murder by Thea Yi. I left the morgue ready to go to court to submit the materials, but was stopped by Jasper Lee. Jasper Lee, what are you doing? I said, this matter ends here. Thea just made a small mistake. She's so young, do you really have to see her sentenced and ruin her whole life to be satisfied? Jasper Lee violently tore up the autopsy report in my hand and ordered the bodyguards to snatch my mother's body. I tried desperately to stop him, but Jasper Lee held me back tightly. Jasper Lee, let go of me. Thea Yi is clearly premeditated murder. Enough. I said, this matter ends here. Why? Thea Yi is a murderer, she killed my mother. I will make her pay the price. Luna Lin, don't push me. Jasper Lee forcibly brought me to the crematorium, directing the bodyguards to push my mother's body into the incinerator. Don't. I struggled constantly, crying and begging, Jasper Lee, let me go, I beg you. My mother was murdered, you can't do this. You're a lawyer, you clearly know the truth, why are you still helping Thea Yi destroy the evidence? I cried until my voice was hoarse. Jasper Lee looked somewhat moved but still held me tightly. Luna, I'm sorry, Thea is my bottom line, and I will never allow anyone to hurt her, you are no exception. I will make it up to you after this is over. Time passed by second, when a box of ashes was brought out by the staff. I completely lost all strength and collapsed helplessly to the ground. Mom, I'm sorry. Alright, the body has been cremated and those so-called evidences are no longer valid. Listen to me, let's just leave it at that. Jasper's stern voice softened a bit. The next second the phone rang. Thea Ye's voice came from the phone. Brother Jasper, Ryan said he wants to go to the amusement park, why aren't you here yet? Okay, I'll be right there. Jasper hung up the phone and left quickly. I held my mother's ashes, my body trembling uncontrollably. Even though I found the evidence, I still couldn't get justice for my mother. Her most admired son-in-law became the murderer's defense lawyer, and her most beloved grandson committed perjury for the murderer, slandering her. I felt a sharp pain in my heart and nausea swept through my body. A mouthful of blood spurted out and everything went black. When I woke up from my coma, I was already lying on the bed in my bedroom. Anonymous abusive text messages and threatening phone calls kept popping up on my phone. The news of 60-year-old man taking his grandson to stage a car accident for extortion, dies in accidental car crash, has already reached the second position on the trending list. The internet is filled with curses. This kind of old geezer deserves it. Why couldn't he do anything else but try to extort people by staging accidents? Good riddance, it's good that this kind of person died and he even brought a child along to stage the accident. Luckily, the child was sensible and knew to testify for the driver. Otherwise wouldn't she have succeeded in her extortion? This kind of scum should just disappear from the world. I looked at the endless stream of insults refreshing on my phone, and my heart ached as if it had been gouged out. And at the top of the trending searches was, in bold, Attorney Lee takes beloved wife and son to amusement park, romantic fireworks display of love overnight. Looking at the picture of the three of them holding hands intimately close, I was reminded of scenes from the past. When Jasper and I first got married, we were just as loving as they are. That was when I was pregnant and gave up my career for the sake of the family. He would always gently comfort me, honey, I will always remember the sacrifices you've made for this family. I swear I will never let you down. Later, when our son was born, he was premature, weak, and on the verge of death. It was my constant kowtowing and kneeling to beg all the doctors that finally saved his life. Later, because my son's health was poor, I always paid extra attention to his health, carefully caring for him as he grew up. My son always liked to snuggle in my arms. Mom, when I grow up, I will definitely repay you. But ever since 3 years ago, Thea Yi appeared in my family life as Jasper Lee's junior sister and assistant. Jasper Lee came home less and less often. Each time he complained to me that this assistant, Thea Yi, often made mistakes and was far less capable than I was when I was at the law firm, yet he patiently accompanied her to work overtime again and again. My son is also slowly starting to like her. The junk food that I don't allow him to eat, Thea Yi will always satisfy him without restraint. When I urge him to finish his homework, Thea Yi will secretly take him out to play. Until I heard my son say, I don't like mommy, I want Auntie Thea to be my mommy. The bedroom door was pushed open. Jasper Lee walked to the bedside, his collar still bearing bright red lip prints. Don't take the online opinions to heart. I'll contact people to help resolve it. I calmly looked at Jasper Lee. It was then that I noticed the wedding ring on his ring finger had been removed long ago, and his body was also dunda with Thea Ye's usual women's fragrance. My son barged into the room, urging impatiently, Dad, I told you Mom was fine, let's go, Aunt Thea is still waiting for us to take a family photo. Just kidding, Thea doesn't have any family, so she's always wanted to take a family photo. Listening to Jasper Lee's explanation, my heart felt no more waves. The torment of these years had long since dried my tears. From the bottom of the drawer, I took out the divorce agreement that had been prepared long ago, but put back time and time again because I couldn't bear to part with it. Jasper Lee, let's get divorced. What? Jasper was stunned for a moment, then a flash of displeasure crossed his face. I've already said, Thea has no family left after losing her mother. My son and I took her to take a family photo to comfort her. My son stood beside him looking at me with a cold face as well. Mom, are you getting a divorce from Dad just because you're jealous of Aunt Thea? Whatever, anyway, I won't follow you after you get divorced. You're ugly and naggy, far worse than Aunt Thea. Listening to my son's words full of disgust, the last trace of attachment in my heart completely disappeared. Fine, I don't want you anymore. Go find your new mom. The son was stunned in place upon hearing this. Enough, do you have to make such a scene in front of our son? Jasper Lee picked up the pen from the table and signed his name on the divorce agreement. I hope you don't regret this. Rest assured I will never regret it. I said, enunciating each word. Watching Jasper Lee sign the divorce agreement with his strong signature, I suddenly felt as if my whole being had lightened. From dating to marriage, I gave up my own preferences and my career for Jasper Lee, gradually transforming from a legal elite into a housewife. Scenes from the past flashed through my mind like a revolving lantern. I carefully put away the divorce agreement and took one last look at my son. Xiaoxia, you're 10 years old now. Take good care of yourself from now on. The reason I don't let you eat junk food is because you're not healthy. I don't want to hear it. You're so naggy. You're divorced from Dad, why should you care about me? I'll have Aunt Thea as my mom from now on. My son covered his ears. Looking at my son now, I remembered how he used to hug my arm and call me mom, and my heart ached for no reason. Okay, I won't say it again in the future. Leaving home, I leveraged my connections to find the last bit of evidence and secretly submitted it to the criminal investigation team. Alone, I held my mother's ashes on Fangshan Cliff. This is where my father was buried. My mother said before she died that her last wish was to be buried with my father after her death. At the desolate funeral, Thea Yi suddenly appeared in high heels, a mocking smile on her face. Sister, I heard you're already divorced from Jasper. Looks like you know what's good for you. What are you doing here? I stared at Thea Yi, my face full of hatred. The murderer who killed my mother appeared so brazenly in front of her tombstone, yet I couldn't bring her to justice. Just came to see my results. You probably don't know how horribly your mother died, do you? I made sure to run her over a few times. Thea Yi. I couldn't control my emotions any longer and was just about to make a move. But Thea Yi fell to the ground first. The next second, Jasper Lee strode over with his son. The son carefully helped Thea Yi up, glaring at me. Bad woman, I won't let you bully Aunt Thea. Jasper Lee slapped me hard across the face, his eyes filled with undisguised anger. Luna Lin, what exactly do you want? Thea came to the funeral out of kindness. Why must you hurt her? Apologize to Thea immediately. Blood trickled from the corner of my mouth as I looked at the father and son protecting Thea Yi in front of me. My heart, riddled with holes, still ached with pain. Today is the day my mother is buried, and you want me to apologize to her murderer here? One thing at a time. I said the matter of your mother's car accident ends here. You hurt Thea, so you must apologize to her. What if I don't? Jasper forcefully snatched the urn containing my mother's ashes. I'll say it one last time, apologize to Thea. Jasper Lee, do you even know what you're doing? I desperately reached out, trying to snatch it back. Jasper Lee stood indifferently at the edge of the cliff, holding the urn suspended in the air. Luna Lin, Thea is my bottom line, don't push me. I pleaded, weeping. No. Jasper Lee, I beg you. I apologize. I'll apologize to her. Thea Yi feigned gentleness. Jasper, why don't we just drop it? I don't think my sister meant to hurt me. No, if you're wrong, you should be punished. I clenched my fists tightly. The familiar man in front of me suddenly felt so foreign. So he also knows that those who make mistakes should be punished. I'm sorry. I endured the heartache and humiliation, bowing to Thea Yi in apology. My son, however, held Thea Ye's hand, looking displeased. Mom, apologies require kneeling, you're not being sincere at all. Xiaoxia, don't say that, she's still your mother. She's already divorced from Dad, now Aunt Thea, you're my mom. I looked at my son, completely heartbroken, and finally knelt down powerlessly. I'm sorry, it was all my fault before, please forgive me. With red eyes, I looked at the urn in Jasper Lee's hand. Jasper Lee, my mother suffered enough before she died. I just want her to be buried with my father. Please. A flicker of emotion crossed Jasper Lee's face, and he was just about to return the urn. The next second, Thea stumbled and cried out in pain. Jasper Lee subconsciously reached out to help, and the urn in his hand slipped, falling uncontrollably towards the cliff. Don't! I watched helplessly as my mother's urn fell down the cliff, rushing forward desperately to catch it. Jasper Lee suddenly reached out and grabbed me. It's just an urn of ashes. Do you want to die? Get out. I forcefully shook off Jasper Lee's hand. Jasper Lee, since you love Thea Yi so much, I'll grant you that. With that, I turned and jumped down, my figure plunging into the sea of clouds. Luna Lin. Jasper's sharp pupils suddenly contracted, and he subconsciously reached out to grab my hand, but he was still a step too late. Mom. Mom. The sight of me jumping off the cliff made my son lose all his strength and collapse to the ground, tears streaming down his face uncontrollably. Thea Yi quickly hugged her son. Xiaoxi, be good, don't cry, don't cry. Let go of me. I want my mommy, I want my mommy. The son pushed Thea Yi away desperately, stepped forward and shook Jasper Lee's hand incessantly. Dad, please find a way to save Mom. I promise I won't be naughty anymore, I want Mom back. Jasper Lee quickly picked up his son and dialed the phone to contact his assistant. But Thea Yi quickly reached out and grabbed him. Jasper, calm down. Falling from this height, no one could survive. Get out. Jasper pushed Thea away and quickly contacted his assistant to arrange for a search and rescue team to enter the mountains. Time passed slowly. Jasper waited patiently at the foot of the mountain with his son, the number of cigarette butts on the ground increasing. Thea Yi comforted him gently from the side. Brother Jasper, don't be too sad. This isn't your fault. It's really too much of sister to just abandon you and Xiaoxi like this. Xiaoxi, don't worry, from now on Auntie will take good care of you. The son suddenly pushed Thea Yi away. I don't need you to take care of me, I want my mommy. It's all your fault that mommy is like this, you killed mommy, you ran over grandma. Thea Yi's face looked a little unpleasant and she tried hard to maintain a smile. Xiaoxi, after this is over, how about Auntie taking you to the amusement park? I don't want to go. I only want my mommy. Xiaoxi. Before Thea Yi could continue speaking, the police arrived at the scene and quickly confirmed Thea Yi's identity. Thea Yi, is it? Yes, what can I do for you? Thea Yi looked at the police officer with a puzzled expression. The police officer took out an arrest warrant. Thea Yi, you are suspected of intentionally causing death in a car accident. Please come with us. How? How could this be? Are you making a mistake? Thea Yi quickly looked at Jasper Lee. Brother Jasper, please help me, I can't be arrested. Jasper Lee frowned and stopped the police. Police notification, the car accident has already been declared over. Are you mistaken about something? An insider has provided new evidence, sufficient to prove that Thea Yi committed intentional homicide. As he spoke, the police had already handcuffed Thea Yi, preparing to forcibly take her away. Jasper, please save me. My father died to save you. You promised him you would protect me. You can't abandon me. Thea Yi struggled incessantly, desperately pleading for Jasper's help. Jasper's expression was troubled. But the next second, the search and rescue team came carrying a stretcher. It was an incomplete corpse that had been eaten by wild animals. The only thing that could be identified was probably the mourning clothes on the remains. Mr. Lee, this is the female corpse found at the bottom of the cliff. The body has been eaten by wild animals and is no longer clear, but she is wearing mourning clothes, so she should have been up the mountain to bury her relatives. Jasper Lee froze on the spot. He still remembered what I was wearing before I jumped off the cliff, which was this mourning garment from the remains. Mommy, I want mommy. The son hugged Jasper Lee's leg and burst into tears. Jasper Lee was stiff all over. He slowly lifted the white cloth covering the remains, then heavily covered it again as if he dared not face it. Brother Jasper. Shut up. Jasper said sternly and coldly, what I owed your father I have repaid over these years. From now on I will no longer care about you. Thea Yi was taken away by the police, struggling constantly but to no avail. She only felt unwilling in her heart. It was so close, just one step away from becoming Mrs. Lee. Mr. Lee, are you sure this is your wife's body? If confirmed, we'll send it directly to the morgue. Why, yes. Jasper Lee uttered the two words with difficulty. then spat out a mouthful of blood and fell heavily to the ground. After one night, Jasper Lee slowly woke up in the hospital room. The nurse checked his basic condition and nodded slightly. Recovering well, get some rest, you can prepare to be discharged. Please get me some honey water. This is a hospital, not your home. Where would honey water come from? The nurse gave Jasper Lee a strange look and turned to leave. Jasper Lee leaned against the headboard, his mind drifting back to the last time he was sick. Back then, he was lying in the hospital bed, and every time he opened his eyes, he could see me watching over him by the bed, with a warm glass of honey water always on the bedside table. I would carefully prepare his meals every day and bring them to him. He still remembered when we first got married. Every time I took care of him, he would earnestly hold my hand and say that he was the happiest man in the world. But later, as the marriage went on, with the appearance of Thea Yi, he slowly came to see all of this as my duty, as a matter of course. Luna, Jasper murmured wearily, dragging his exhausted body out of the ward and heading alone to the hospital morgue. It was here back then. To protect Thea Yi, they stole my mother's body and destroyed the evidence. But now my body is also lying here. Jasper Lee searched through the morgue cabinets one by one, his eyes dazed, unwilling to believe the fact that I was dead. But, until every mortuary drawer had been searched, Jasper found nothing. How could this be? Ignoring everything else, Jasper rushed to find the hospital staff, only to be told that the body had already been sent to the crematorium for cremation. Who told you to cremate it? Jasper gripped the doctor's collar tightly and then rushed towards the crematorium, reckless and uncaring. The doctor straightened his collar, glanced at Jasper's retreating figure and thought to himself, puzzled, the family members requested the cremation. What business is it of his, an outsider? Jasper rushed to the crematorium only to see that the body had already been sent into the incinerator. He collapsed to the ground, falling into endless despair. He regretted it so much. Regretted not cherishing me properly. Luna, is this how much your heart ached when your mother's body was sent to the crematorium back then? An hour later, the staff member walked out carrying the urn. Jasper hurriedly stepped forward to take it, but was stopped by the staff member. What are you doing? You're not a member of the deceased's family. Before Jasper Lee could speak, a pair of the deceased's family members walked over, thanked the staff and left with the urn. Jasper stood frozen in place, momentarily unable to comprehend what had just happened. He redialed the search and rescue team, asking where my body had been taken, only to be informed that the identity of the disfigured corpse had already been confirmed. It turned out to be someone who had gone to the mountain that day to pay respects and had accidentally fallen off a cliff. Luna isn't dead. Jasper Lee immediately fell into boundless ecstasy and ran towards his son's school. He knew that my biggest concern used to be my son, and as long as I wasn't dead, I would definitely couldn't help but visit him at school. Chapter 8. Jasper Lee rushed to the school, only to find his son squatting alone by the edge of the playground, covering his head and sobbing uncontrollably. Xiao Si. Dad, I miss Mom so much, can you please ask her to come back? The son saw Jasper Lee and hugged him, sobbing. Wah. I saw Mom at the school gate just now, but when I chased after her, she disappeared. Does Mom really not want me anymore? I miss her so much. Jasper Lee's expression suddenly froze. You saw Mommy? Jasper Lee immediately took his son to the school security department and retrieved the surveillance footage from near the school. Sure enough, he saw my figure in the video. After I jumped off the cliff, I was caught by tree branches and didn't die immediately. Instead, I followed the branches to a cave on the mountainside and made my way down the mountain along a small path, avoiding the search and rescue personnel. I wanted to just leave. But in the end, I couldn't bear to leave my young son, thinking that it would be good to just take one last look at him from afar before leaving. A quick glance behind the school gate. I quickly packed my luggage and bought a plane ticket to a foreign country alone. Airport boarding gate. The second before I was about to go through the gate, Jasper stopped me, his face filled with excitement the moment he saw me. Luna, it really is you. Jasper instinctively reached out to hug me. I immediately stepped back, avoiding Jasper's embrace, my tone icy. Is there something you need? Luna, it's me, don't you recognize me? I'm Jasper. So what? If I remember correctly, Mr. Lee and I are already divorced. If there's nothing else, please step aside, Mr. Lee. I need to board the plane. I coldly walked around Jasper Lee, ready to leave. Luna, I know you're still blaming me for your mother's car accident. Thea has already been judged. Forgive me, please. I really know I was wrong. Jasper Lee reached out and grabbed my wrist, his grip tight as if worried I would disappear again. Let go. I forcefully shook off Jasper's tight grip, my eyes filled with disgust. Why should I forgive you? I gave up my career, my life for you, dedicated everything to this family, but what did I get in return? The husband I trusted most became the defense lawyer for my mother's murderer. I sneered. Jasper Lee, don't you think it's ridiculous? Jasper Lee's Adam's apple bobbed slightly and he was speechless for a moment. Passenger Luna Lin, please proceed to boarding as soon as possible. The airport announcement sounded. I looked at Jasper Lee coldly. Jasper Lee, we are divorced. From now on, my affairs have nothing to do with you. I hope you won't bother me again. Having said that, I led my suitcase ready to leave. What about Xiaoxiai? Don't you even want your son? As he spoke, my son ran over quickly, clutching my sleeve tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. Mom, don't go, I know I was wrong, you can hit me and scold me later. I don't want to be without a mom. Mom, I beg you, please don't leave me. I looked at my son crying with snot and tears streaming down his face, and my heart trembled slightly. But every time I think of my son perjuring himself in court for that murderer, I can't feel any love for him anymore. He's my son. But I am also my mother's daughter. I cannot forgive him on behalf of my mother. I'm not your mom is Thea Yi, it has nothing to do with me. I pried my son's hands off. I don't want her, I only want mommy. My son clung tightly to my leg, refusing to let me leave. Jasper Lee also looked at me, his voice pleading, Luna, I know I was wrong, please give me another chance. I give you a chance, but who will give my mother a chance? I looked coldly at the father and son in front of me. When I was at my most painful and in need of help, they both betrayed me and chose to help the murderer who killed my mother. What qualifications do I have now to stay for them? Luna, I just want a chance to make amends now. Please give me a chance to make it up to you. Mom, please, let our family of 3 live well together in the future. Family of 3? I let out a cold laugh. Once upon a time this was a word that made me feel happy, but now it's simply a nightmare to me. The 2 men I once loved and trusted the most have joined forces to hurt me. The airport's boarding announcement sounded again. I looked at the security guard beside me. Comrade Security, these 2 have been preventing me from boarding the plane. Please help me handle this. Okay. The security guard verified my boarding information and quickly took Jasper Lee and my son away. I took one last look at the backs of the 2 people being led away by security, picked up my suitcase and resolutely entered the boarding gate. After boarding, I looked at the constantly popping message notifications on my phone, directly removed the SIM card and let out a long breath. I'm free. The end.